Hello, and welcome to another edition of No Lights Paranormal, where three nerdy paranormal investigators sit down and discuss spooky stories from the web. My name is Joe, the lead investigator.
My name is Teresa, and I am a researcher.
I am Alex, the druid, the Baba Yaga enthusiast, and the equipment setter-upper.
Yep. Yerp.
That's me. Yerp.
That be the way we are.
Oh, yeah. So what's up, beautiful people? It is so good to see you again. Well, listen to you, let you listen to me?
I literally saw a brain fart just happen.
Yeah, that happened right there. It's so great to let you listen to me again.
In real time.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate you being here.
And I know that when this comes out, it won't be the exact day, but for those who are listening, happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Patty's Day. And to be fair, I'm going to upload this basically as soon as we're done. And there are a couple of people that literally jump on that.
Yeah.
They've got it downloaded within that first hour. And I'm like,
so
what?
For you guys, happy St. Patty's Day.
And we love and thank you guys for that.
Yes, we do. For real. Yeah, but yeah.
Not just words. We mean it.
Yeah. From the bottom of my black little heart.
All right. You need to go see a doctor?
I probably do.
Maybe.
Yeah. So.
Yes, with that spooky news.
Spooky news. Okay, so I've delved into a couple of different things this week for spooky news. Very first thing I wanted to talk about was the speaker series on the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad. We do have, there's so much going on. It is so fantastic. The date is March 30th. The Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad's Rockside Station will host a speaker series featuring local ghost stories and historian Ken Summers, who will share chilling true ghost stories and legends with an Irish twist.
Ooh.
And as we all know, Ken Summers is the founding member of Moonspenders, the mentor for what we do today, and an honorary member of No Lights Paranormal.
Yep.
We should also again point out that he was also the inventor of the orb color chart.
He was.
So I know that he loves it when we do that.
Yes, he loves it so much.
I can literally feel his reaction.
Yeah, I can. The eye roll. The eye roll is palpable.
I felt the eye roll from at least 20 miles away.
Heck yeah.
His ear is burning right now, and he doesn't know why.
Yes, and I actually do know that he has made he has made a ton of food, and he is hanging out at his favorite place in downtown Akron, which I will not name the name because he doesn't need fans swarming him on St. Patty's Day while he hangs out with his buddies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you out drinking tonight, I know this again, but hopefully you're being safe.
DD, man. DD.
Uber, make sure
for
you
real.
do. Speaking from someone who had a prior DUI, do it. It's not worth it.
You don't want that, I promise. I watched him go through it, and it was hell, even from my vantage point.
Right.
So yeah, no, be safe. Stay alive.
From someone who had an Irish bar owner tell him, "Don't worry, you're Irish. You'll be fine."
That's
don't do that.
No, that's not true.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
Super excited though for a couple of different things that I'm seeing here. So anyway, Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, get your tickets, hop on the tour, and listen to Ken and various other speakers talk about ghosts in the valley, around the valley, and not having anything at all to do with the valley aside from the fact that there's some Irish stories in there.
Well, there's a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. A lot. Because Irish immigrants actually were the ones that were used as not technically slave labor, but they were so incredibly underpaid and ill-treated that it might as well have been slave labor.
Adjacent.
Yes, slave adjacent. There we go.
I believe what people like to refer to it as is indentured servitude.
Even then, I don't know what it was called. It was very little
Not
pay.
good.
It was just bad. It was just bad. Just bad. Anyway, on with it. On March 22nd, Whispering Souls Paranormal Investigations will be hosting a ghost hunting event at the Black Dog Wine Company. 2 time slots available. One of them is between 6 and 9, and the other is 9:30 to 12:30. This is Saturday, March 22nd. You can purchase tickets at whisperingsoulsparanormal.com/events. So that plan looks kind of fun, actually. I gotta be honest, I don't know a whole heap about the Black Dog Winery. It is in Oakdale, PA, by the by. I don't know a lot about it. I don't know its ghost story. I will look into that and let y'all know.
Do you know if that's the east side or the west side of PA?
Well, I do not. I just know that it is in Oakdale, so I can just Google that super quick like a bunny. And it looks like it is on this side of Pittsburgh. So
that's the west side for the listeners.
Yeah, it's actually not far from us at all.
Yeah.
Maybe like an hour.
Steelers.
That's right.
So that is almost worth me looking into. It's close enough to make it a quick trip. Anyway.
I'm not going to say there's not stuff that Joe and I haven't gone to PA for, so.
Right. And then don't forget that the Paranormal Experience at Coco's Selfie Space in Cleveland, also the 5th Street Arcade, is coming up on March 28th at 6 p.m. That is a Friday. It is located inside of the 5th Street Arcade, by the by. Check-in begins at 5:15. You must be there before 5:55. The arcade doors will close. And yeah, you best be there. Be there, be square kind of thing.
Be there or don't get to play.
Exactly. Exactly. That Paranormal Experience looks kind of cool. It looks like they're going to do a night filled with ghost stories, haunted artifacts, and unexplained phenomena. And then here is where I kick off on the slightly new paranormal news, spooky news.
It's about time.
Fuck off.
So glad I wasn't in the middle for that.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum official opening for the 2025 season. There are so many beautiful dates. So many. It's basically every fucking day of the week. Get yourself in there and go play. But they also have just regular old tours that you can do. First floor north, first floor south, the criminally insane tour, which will be obviously in the asylum, the daytime paranormal tour, the fourth floor plus tour, which is one of the most comprehensive. It covers the entire 130-year history of the prison, medical treatments, daily life inside the massive 242,000 square foot facility. And then there is a 90-minute VIP asylum tour on Wednesdays and Saturdays only, which is a customized guide experience inside the Kirkbridge building, blending history, paranormal activity, Civil War stories, medical practices, tailored to each group's interests. And then, of course, you can always just show up for tours. You do not have to have reservations. And then you can do the overnight hunts as well, which, of course, cost a little bit of money and include quite a bit of planning beforehand.
I'm going to throw out a
caveat
to that.
There it is.
Trans-Allegheny is on our hit list for this year. Absolutely, for sure. So what I would say is...
I don't know what the hell all that little funny noise was. That you sounded like Ollie for a second. My puppy just kind of like makes these funny grunting noises, and Joe just did that.
All right. Anyway.
Focus.
Back to the point I was making. Trans-Allegheny is for sure on our hit list this year. Not really sure when we're going to go this year or when we'll have a chance to, but we will be hitting that up this year. What I will say is that any listeners in the area of Trans-Allegheny that can make the drive, pay special attention, keep listening to the podcast. We might have a raffle or something because we might have a couple of slots open.
Because we do that.
We do. We do that, actually.
So if you want to get all of the entertainment of a Trans-Allegheny hunt in a mildly private setting versus 100 people might be there.
Mildly private.
Mildly
Trans-Allegheny.
You will have to deal with
one of us.
80,000 spooks staring at you, but other than that, it's private.
Well, point being, I have never been on a public hunt, but I know that a lot of these old buildings are echo festivals.
I have very little interest in public hunts, to be quite honest.
Yeah. It's not that I don't. I would just need to know the place first. So, like, we've been to the Mansfield Reformatory on multiple occasions. There's the con that goes there every year. We've been there for other things like incarceration, like the music festival that goes on there. Mm-hmm. Listen, if I talk in one end of that building, it will echo all the way down to the other end of that building where you're standing. So EVPs are that's our only issue with public hunts, I think.
Yeah.
Is the validity that you can get with EVPs because of the echo that goes through
the noise
old buildings.
Pollution, the light pollution. It's just
a lot of those buildings have good auditory things that they reverberate. It's
absolutely.
wide, spacious thing. So yes, the echo effect is definitely a thing.
It's for real.
And when you're investigating with a person that can't shut their mouth,
been there,
trying
done
to
that.
get an EVP,
Jesus Christ,
makes it difficult.
Click, 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 click. Remind you of anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, flashlight. God, if you're afraid of the dark, don't come with us, by the way.
Please don't.
And I don't understand that at all. So I forgot about that.
We're going to spend the evening in the dark.
That's an inside joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see better in the dark than I do when you keep flashing your flashlight 75 times.
Yeah, then I'm just blind.
Right. Because then I can't see crap.
No. The eyes are like, what am I adjusting to?
And I'm 44. I need to see.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm having vision problems as it is. I got to wear reading glasses. Come on. Don't make it worse.
So, as a matter of fact, in case anybody's unawares, Trans-Allegheny is in West Virginia. We are from Ohio. We will be going there. So if you're anywhere in a drivable distance where you want to go, like I said, just pay attention to the podcast. Keep up to date. We'll probably run some kind of thing.
You don't even have to be in a drivable distance. If you really feel like coming, get on over there.
Just help us pay for gas and we'll carpool.
Mm-hmm.
No, and if you're done.
Yeah.
The reason why I giggled / did the Ollie thing was because you said it's on our hit list. No, that motherfucker is a list.
It is.
It is this year. It is for sure on the list. It's the list.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure we're going to make several visits to our beautiful stomping ground up in Madison at the seminary.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yes, Trans-Allegheny is big time on the list.
Yes. So this week, well, you said it last week on the thing, so it's not really a surprise.
Kind of.
It is true.
I will admit that I kind of messed up last week because I didn't realize this week was St. Patty's Day. I thought it was like next week. I screwed that up in my head.
Which is odd.
That's fair.
Yeah, you've been on a St. Patty's kick all month, so.
I have. Oh, shit. That reminds me. Go ahead and start talking. I got to pull something up real quick.
So we're doing the... see that little segue there? Yeah, we're doing the... I'm not even sure how to say it because we made a joke about it, but we don't want to say that on air.
The
colored ladies.
Yes.
Fine.
Okay, Alex just went ahead and said it. All right.
I'm going to say
it. So we're doing the white lady, the green lady. We decided to research all of those and...
The brown lady,
the spooky ladies of the paranormal world.
The what?
The spooky ladies of the paranormal world.
Right.
Yeah, but specifically ones that have color.
Ghost women.
Like, yes. The white, the green, and all those. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I actually was just going to say that there are thousands, literally thousands upon thousands of reports of the white lady, the gray lady, the brown lady. They're all over the place. Absolutely everywhere. Almost every single major city has a haunting that suggests that there is a woman in some fancy colored Victorian era gown haunting their establishment. So, maybe it's very similar to like the Crybaby Bridges of the world.
Huh?
There's one everywhere.
Upon doing the research for this, I come up with a theory. No evidence to back it up, just a theory.
I dig it.
So I welcome the debate, but I have no evidence to back it up. But I'll say it after it because I want to see if your Tuesday story coincide with it. So.
Okay. So anyway, I cut up to where I was going with it, right? Because you had mentioned the whole like me being like full on Irish for the St. Patty's Day month, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and give us our fun Irish fact for the week.
Yes,
right?
please.
In 1875, the whiskey warehouse, a whiskey warehouse in Dublin caught fire, sending burning whiskey flooding down the streets. Locals grabbed whatever they could, hats, boots, buckets, to scoop it up and drink. So happy St. Patty's Day. Have a great time. Don't drink flaming whiskey. It's not good for your health. Blow that shit out first is all I'm saying.
Yeah, blow it out.
I've had flaming shots before, and they're damn delicious. So
You
They
gotta-
are,
You gotta
but,
blow that
they're
shit
but
out.
nice
you
little
got to blow that shit out first.
yeah, that adds a nice little smoky flavor to it. So
I've also
already
watched
smoking
flaming
before.
shots go awry real fast.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know about it, coursing down the street on fire and people scooping it up. That's dedication to the liquor right there.
It's fucking Irish.
Exactly.
So
we got
actually,
potatoes and whiskey. Come on, man.
Have a beautiful day, Ireland. We love you.
Just don't say W's.
no, don't.
Shout out to Becky Lynch. That was hilarious.
So actually, to go along with that fact, I'm actually going to give one more fact, and it's only because I have so many. Like, I've been giving these out like one a day at work.
I feel like people who don't really care, but you're going to say it anyways.
No, honest to God. Like, and to be fair, my boss somehow loves them.
That's awesome.
But it's just because she's like, so she gives us like random trivia every Friday.
Oh, okay.
Like, we literally do random trivia every Friday. So she likes learning just like random off the wall shit. So to go along with the last one, just so that everybody is aware, in the 19th century, an English scientist tried to prove that Irish were naturally drunkards by feeding the Irish test subjects whiskey and measuring how fast they got intoxicated. His biased experiment was later debunked, but it did help spread the drunken Irish stereotype. So,
what were the results?
They all got drunk?
Yeah, I know
that
but
they
how
all
long?
got drunk when you fed them liquor. Like, I don't know what they were going for, to be honest
I
with
know
you.
the result, but I'm just saying, like, what? How long did it take?
Yeah, was it like
Good question. It does
5
not.
pints, 10
because-
pints?
And it's weird that I segued this with this one. I mentioned I got a DUI when I had to go to the DUI school. They actually mentioned in there that your body weight and everything is not a factor
It's not.
in that.
It's really
so
not.
I'm curious, like, what was this? So, all right, sorry.
There
I
are
rabbit hole, my bad.
72 million factors into how fast you get drunk.
Yeah.
Weather is a big one.
Mm.
Food.
Mhm.
Joe has literally watched, well, Joe has been part of, like, Joe and I literally drinking
Then
2
watch
and a
how
half,
it took.
2 3/4 fifths of Jameson in one night, and we walked through the garage like we were fine, and I was surprised that I could even walk.
And didn't have a hangover the next day.
And then
love
the
it.
next week, I was out in the sun all day at the medieval fair and drank
Yeah.
a 6-pack, and I was
And you were
totally blitzed out of my mind.
I don't know if Teresa opened up the bottle and poured it in with water and we were just already drunk and figured it was whiskey at the point. But
Well, that was
a
a snow cone machine weekend, too.
right.
So, I wanted, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
so there's actually, so one of my bosses, he has the most beautiful wife. She's this beautiful blonde-haired girl, very bubbly, very personable. I like her a lot. She actually wrote a quote up on the whiteboard when you first walk into the office, and it kind of struck me because I liked it a lot. And the quote was, "What you are not changing, you are choosing."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Facts.
I was like, that's good. I like that shit. I'm gonna use
That's 100% factual right
that.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ollie?
That's right.
Ollie agrees. Maybe that was Havoc. I don't know.
From his
They're both
spot
back
on
here
the
in the
floor
same
trying
kind
to
of
sleep.
corners.
Right.
So, I'm going to go ahead and go first this week.
Now that the philosophical part of the thing is over,
Sorry if we bored you. We kind of have a little bit of fun with it.
they just hit the 10-second fast.
Exactly. They're like, meh. I am going to be covering, actually, my story goes across multiple decades to the tune of, almost 100 years. And it starts off in the present day with Lyceum Hall.
You said multiple decades, like that makes it sound longer than it really is.
Well, it's almost 100 years. That's like a long time. Mm-hmm.
Mine starts in 1894.
The Valley Girl come out. That's like a long time.
That's like a long time. So the term Lyceum actually means an association providing public lectures, concerts, and entertainments. This one, Lyceum Hall, just happens to be set in beautiful Salem, Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. It was formed January of 1830. The purpose they listed was mutual instruction and rational entertainment by means of lectures, debates, etc.
I want to point out that's
Etc.,
almost 2
etc.
centuries. That's more than a couple of decades.
Well, hold tight.
Couple.
I'm fixing to go back in time.
From 1830?
Uh-huh. Even before 1830.
Carry on.
So you hold tight for a moment. Hang on to your britches. I got you. All right. So, exactly, because it's going to be a long one. So, Lyceum Hall opened January 19th of 1831. It opened with a prayer from Reverend Brown Emerson and an address to the organization's vice president, Stephen Phillips. It was a semicircular amphitheater with approximately 600 seats, which absolutely is dwarfed by any type of lecture hall or whatever that we have these days. But it's, at the time, it was huge.
You get the point.
Right.
You get it.
In 1831, the Salem Lyceum was actually the largest one in the state. It had 1,200 members that offered courses in everything from history to science to art. The membership was predominantly male, but women were, in fact, admitted on special terms. There's so much beautifulness to this place. One of the very, very cool things, there is a plaque on Lyceum Hall's front entrance that says, "In this building, February 12th of 1877, Alexander Graham Bell presented the first public demonstration of long-distance telephone conversation. Following the demonstration, the first news dispatch sent by telephone originated here and received by the Boston Globe and was published the following day." So, lots of really cool history in this building. Now, long before the Lyceum stood, long before, there were shops and restaurants and all of that lovely stuff. There was an orchard that stood on that very spot, and the home of a woman by the name of Bridget. Bridget was born in England. She came into the world just a very normal girl, nothing super special about her. She went by the name Bridget Playfer. She was born, they're not super certain, sometime between 1632 and 1635. But this woman lived an incredibly tumultuous life. Everything about her life, honestly, was plagued by controversy and just insanity. She was married 3 times, which, if anybody knows anything about Puritan society, that was absolute. You don't do that.
Frowned upon.
Her first husband.
Wow. 3, not even 2, but 3.
Yeah, which is just insanity. It was actually her third husband and her that things would get really crazy. But during the marriage to her second husband named Thomas Oliver in 1666, that should have just told everybody there was something going on.
Yeah.
Things became kind of infamous. The relationship was plagued by public disputes, allegations of physical abuse, and both her and her husband received lots and lots and lots of public humiliation and fines for arguing in the street, and he would hit her and she would hit him, and you can't do that, so they would get fined
or killed.
Exactly. It was actually 1679 when Oliver passed away, which led to her being able to remarry. And that was okay in the eyes of the church.
Yeah.
But that didn't help any because her first marriage ended in divorce, which is not a thing. So after Oliver passed away, there was huge amounts of rumors flying around saying basically that she bewitched him to his death because of the way that their relationship was so incredibly shitty. There was no trial ever held. There was no evidence that suggested that she actually bewitched him. So nothing ever actually happened to her despite the accusations. And then her third husband, Edward Bishop, obviously is how she became known as Bridget Bishop. This leads into 1692 when several young girls who lived in the town decided to start pointing fingers and accusing people of witchcraft. So Bridget and her husband were some of the very first people who were actually accused. And with that, obviously, she had built interesting reputation for herself over the years with her second husband and the abuse and the arguments and every other thing that went on. So she was kind of damned right off the get-go. So she was constantly protesting her innocence, saying, I'm not a witch. You guys are insane. I don't know what you're talking about. Despite this, she was tried and she was convicted of witchcraft. And she became one of the first people who were executed during the Salem witch trials. She was hanged at a place called Proctor's Ledge, which actually my family owned. My great grandparents were proctors, I should say. And they're from that area. Direct descendant to John Proctor, who was also accused and executed as a witch.
Yeah, I know the last name Proctor.
Yeah, he's my blood.
Oh, yeah.
On June 10th of 1692 is the day that she was hanged. Of course, that set the stage for all the subsequent executions that came after that, and a lot of truly innocent people died. So, following Bridget's death, the land where her orchard was, where her home was, it passed through a lot of different hands. In 1831, it was purchased by the Salem Lyceum Society, and that is when the current Lyceum Hall was constructed.
Yeah.
It's been renovated many times over the years, but it's still the same idea. So it became a hub for intellectual and cultural exchange in Salem, which before that didn't really exist. Over the years, the hall hosted over 1,000 lectures. There were famous people such as Henry David Thoreau, who was a poet and pretty amazing, Frederick Douglass, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and even Alexander Graham Bell, who I just told you about the phone thing.
Yeah.
However, during the years the Lyceum Hall served as an educational institute, they had absolutely no recordings of hauntings going on. None whatsoever. People don't really know why, but it was incredibly quiet all those years. Until in 1989, the building itself was converted into Turner's Seafoods. And that is when crazy shit started happening.
Okay.
The most frequent apparition in the place is a woman in a white gown. She is believed to be none other than Bridget Bishop herself. Visitors and staff have described seeing her pass by the main staircase, her reflection in windows or mirrors, and her spirit always seems to be accompanied by a really, really strong chill in the air.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to just seeing her, people also have caught the scent, like heavy scent of fresh apples, which is interesting because yes, the land was an orchard, but it was Bridget's. She actually tended the orchard. And by the way, there are no apple orchards near there today. So just thinking you're catching the smell of apples on the wind, not happening. The scent is often detected in the restaurant, especially during times when no apple-based dishes are on the menu. Almost like Bridget is saying, hey, these are good, include these. Yeah, so the theory is that this is a lingering connection to Bridget's once extremely vibrant apple orchard that was on the property, obviously long before it became Lyceum Hall. So yeah, that is my story today.
Okay.
You can visit Turner Seafood at Lyceum Hall. It is extremely well rated for having some amazing seafood. And of course, it's directly linked to Salem's haunted past, particularly the story of Bridget Bishop. And they say that even to this day, the staff will still tell you lots and lots of stories. They keep a book of occurrences where guests and staff alike can write down things that they've seen. Mostly, it is not, you get lots of hauntings where you get small stuff, like something moves, or there's a light, or there's a voice, or a footstep.
You hear that?
No, she's directly the opposite. People see her. They just flat out see her full-on apparition.
Okay.
So she makes it well known that she is still there and that she's still hanging out in a place that she used to love.
All right. Well, we've talked before on the podcast about energy hanging out in a place where...
Bless you.
Excuse me. energy hanging out in a place where they deem to love it. Like,
Yeah.
why would you hang around a graveyard? You don't love a graveyard. Why would you
Exactly.
hang around there, but
And people are like, well, why would she hang out in a seafood restaurant? Because that was not only the land where her home was, but her apple orchard was right there on that plot of land.
right, and she probably loved being in the apple orchard.
Yeah, she
So-
would walk through there and tend the apples, and take care of the trees and pick the apples, and yeah, she loved it. It was her thing. So, yeah.
Huh? Nice. Kind of
So
also
the white lady.
went into the theory too. So okay.
See, I
So we got
this.
which one did you do?
Oh, so are you telling me to go next and then you'll go last? Is that what you're telling me?
No, I was going to make a joke, but never mind. Do you want to go next?
I don't care.
All right, I'll go.
I just want to know where you want to put me. That's all.
All right, I'll go. So the reason why I asked what color were you doing is because I'm doing the purple lady. And I've never heard of a purple one. I've heard of white, green, brown, but never a purple.
Yeah,
Hashtag
no,
not
purple's...
purple.
And yeah, okay.
Actually, doing the research, I heard about a pink one too, but I didn't read into it.
Right. This is the way you look geeky as hell right there. It was hilarious.
So sorry.
No, it's fine. But no, as we all know, purple is a sign of royalty. Now, this lady here was not royalty whatsoever. I just thought it'd be a little quick little thing to put in because you guys are doing quizzes, so haha. But this purple lady in Salt Lake City, Utah, is a distraught woman from the early 1900s who has been known to haunt the premise of the Rio Grande train depot. I have no idea. They didn't have a picture. But it's from 1900, so I'm pretty sure she had a big bouffant of a hairdo and all that. So
Maybe.
But who was the mysterious woman? Butchering this name. Kevin Fales is the assistant director of the Utah Historical Society, formerly known as the Utah Division of State History. He's very familiar with the history of the building because it's where he used to work for the last 9 years. The train depot, finished in 1910, was the home of the Utah Historical Society offices since 1980s. As the story goes, a woman who was coming in on one train and her fiance was coming in on the second train. And the plan was to meet at the train platform west of the Rio Grande depot. But the meeting did not go well. The couple argued in a fit of anger. The young man threw the engagement ring onto the railroad tracks. This woman was distraught, so she ran to retrieve her ring and did not notice the fast approaching train, and before anyone could stop her, she was struck by the train and killed. That must have been some right.
Right.
Since the 1940s, people have claimed to see the purple lady around the Rio Grande depot. I said, we don't know the woman's name, but she is often depicted in the 1940s suit of light violet with a hat and matching shoes. Now, other people say that she wears a long purple dress from the earlier area. Most agree she has black hair. She's said to haunt the hallway passages between the main station floor and the entrance of the Rio Grande Cafe. Excuse me. So they're asking what actually makes this place haunted, or why does she haunt this place? Some people say they see the purple lady in a woman's restroom right outside the restaurant. Maybe an echo, as we said earlier. She's just recanting the day she died.
Absolutely.
There have been a few sightings of the legendary purple lady, mostly near the restaurant or in the bathroom. Fale says the majority of experiences are phantom footsteps. Supposedly people would hear footsteps, they would be alone in the building, and hear running footsteps. Makes sense. She died running. So they would be in the hallway basement alone, and they would hear the sound of footsteps like running past them and continuing down. The basement runs the full length of the building. There's one corridor that poorly lit, which could provide a spooky atmosphere. He explained that the nature of the building being so old could contribute to the feeling that it's being haunted. We've all been in those buildings that were old as hell, and it just had a spooky aura about it because of the longevity of it.
Right.
So I have another theory about that, but I won't share this time. I'll go. The whole building, the old steam radiators, and those hiss and building would. Sorry, the dog threw me off. There's old steam radiators, and they, old steam radiators hiss and do all that. So it adds a little level of spookiness to the environment. However, they asked this Fales guy if he believes in the supernatural. And he gave a very interesting response. Let me find it here real quick because I can't remember where I saw that. Sorry for the... Okay, here it is. It says, when they asked him if he believed if it was haunted, he responded with, I don't know. But to get serious for a moment, I mean, that ties into people's religious beliefs. So yes, I think there's a life after death. And I think there are some things we should not mock. But saying that, I do not like to be in the real by myself.
Interesting.
So there's someone saying they don't really know if they believe in the supernatural, but they will not go in there by themselves.
Which is
I thought that was an
telling.
interesting response, because if you don't believe in it, why would you be spooked?
That's true.
But yeah, that's the history of the purple lady. There are some pictures in this article, and I'm not going to post them because I look at it and most people would probably think, oh, it's a purple lady showing. I look at it and I see a camera glare. I'll show Alex right now, and I'm pretty sure he'd agree with me.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a camera.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah. And for those of you who can't see the picture,
It's a lens flare.
you know, when you kind of look into the lens of the camera and you see that little purple flare or glare in there, that's what the picture looks
Right.
like.
It's
So
just not big enough to actually look
Right.
like a person.
right. There's no shape
Lens
there,
flare.
nothing. So, and I'll say my theory now. I talked in the previous podcast about for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of it, and I've got so many story saves, I'm not going back through and looking at it. About an Indian lady that appears now as the white lady. And I said, what if she is all the white ladies that we've been seeing? Because
Interesting.
the way that she was kind of cursed by her people to stay there, she couldn't leave the island. It was a snake-filled island. So what if that's her way of getting out? But upon looking up the different colors of certain people, we've heard of auras, right?
Mhm.
How they have different colors.
Oh, of course, yeah.
What if this was a hidden message by the supernatural? Kind of goes in line with Ken's different orbs.
That's an interesting theory.
What if the level of, like I said, this is just a theory. I have no scientific evidence to back this up. But obviously, death is horrific. How did the person die in your story to become the lady that it was, or she was?
True.
No, I'm asking how.
We don't know.
Oh, okay. So they don't know how she died? She
Well-
just randomly appeared?
Yeah. Are you talking Bridget Bishop?
Yeah.
She was hanged.
Okay, that's why.
But I have
how did she die?
I have another one, and I thought, for whatever reason, I thought you were
Okay,
talking
and
about
what
that.
color is she appearing as?
Pink. I went ahead and looked
Pink.
her up.
Okay. So mine was hit by a train, purple.
I mean, I don't know what purple has to do with being hit by a train.
No. I'm saying purple means nobility, right? Or it used to back in the day. Purple used to mean
Yeah.
nobility. What if it shows lineage? What if it shows the aura of the person, and that's why you don't get
I mean,
random ghosts of color? You get certain ones
so
that are like that.
I definitely understand that purple was a noble color, but if you're talking about auras, a purple aura would be way different.
Yeah, I know.
And it doesn't have anything at all to do with
I
nobility.
was just mentioning that as a thing, as a reference point. Like colors mean things.
Right. Let's see.
Sorry, Alex, if I made your brain explode.
I mean, and like,
No, never. Not me.
That was the sound.
and white makes sense because white would I mean, literally just be like a
Innocence.
high level of spiritual attainment, basically.
Maybe.
So when you cross over and become a spirit, especially one that
So purity.
is no, not even purity. It's literally a sort of think of it like spiritual enlightenment.
Yeah.
So like an intelligent haunt, you could probably suggest might have a white aura.
Yeah. It was just a random thought that I had. Like, what if it actually meant something? What if it's actually Morse code for the supernatural out there? I don't know. It's just me throwing it out there.
It's interesting.
My brain goes through some weird places sometimes. So
I'm going to leave it up to Ken to clarify that one. He knows
Or,
more about colors than I do.
like
somewhere he's flicking you off.
they're very, very famous, the brown lady.
Right.
Brown auras tend to lend to like nurturing
Right.
and stability and mothering and grounding and healing and compassion.
Yeah.
And I believe that the brown lady was a mother to many, many, many children.
Well, maybe.
So, I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's just an interesting thought that I had in the theory. Like, what if it actually means something? And we're just Stupid humans and can't take the hint.
Raynham Hall in Norfolk, England. Yeah.
Hershey's Kisses. What? I can say random stuff. What do you mean?
That's where she was from.
Okay.
Her name was Lady Dorothy Walpole.
Like the purple sword?
No. But yeah, she was the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, I just thought it was an interesting thought. So, but that was my story of the purple lady.
It is for sure an interesting thought.
So, yeah. So go ahead, Alex.
Okay, so we're on me.
Yeah. Mine was a short story. That's why I had to fill it with a thought. If you've ever noticed, when I have a short story, I fill it with an interesting thought. So.
Well, my lady was hot. Or supposedly she was hot.
Like looks or like she's on fire?
Looks.
Okay.
So the subject of my story is a woman named Olive Thomas, who, as I go through and describe this, you will all know. She's pretty famous. Olive Thomas was born Olivretta Duffy on October 20th in 1894 in Charleroi, Pennsylvania. After her father's died, Olive left school at the age of 14 to work and help support her family. Ambitious and strikingly beautiful, she moved to New York City at 16 and soon entered a beauty contest, winning the title of Most Beautiful Girl in New York in 1914. This victory opened doors for her as an illustrator's art model. It wasn't long before Broadway took notice. In 1915, Olive joined the famed Ziegfeld Follies, a lavish revue featuring chorus girls and extravagant productions. She quickly became a favorite of impresario Florenz Ziegfeld and even headlined his risque Midnight Frolic show, where wealthy patrons watched chorus girls dance under a glass floor, an act that included popping balloons on the dancers' costumes with lit cigars. Olive's charm and beauty captivated audiences and made her a minor celebrity on Broadway. Eager to expand her career, Olive transitioned to the burgeoning film industry. In 1916, she had signed a movie contract and moved to Hollywood. There, she met actor Jack Pickford, the younger brothers of film star Mary Pickford, and after a brief romance, they secretly married in 1916. Olive starred in more than 20 silent films over the next 4 years. Notably, she played the lead in The Flapper in 1920, making her the first actress to portray a flapper, free-spirited young woman, on film.
Yeah, it meant something totally different back then. So
It did.
Yeah.
This role and the popularization of the flapper image cemented Olive's status as a trendsetter of the jazz age. Off-screen, however, her life was a little more complicated. Jack Pickford's reputation as a playboy and his brushes with scandal, including a 1919 Army graft scheme, strained their marriage. The couple often lived apart due to work, and their relationship was marked with passionate quarrels followed by lavish makeups. By 1920, the 25-year-old Olive Thomas was both a rising Hollywood star and a seasoned performer, celebrated as the most beautiful girl in New York City, and now America's original flapper.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to patch up their tumultuous marriage, Olive and Jack embarked on a second honeymoon to Paris in the late summer of 1920. Paris in the Roaring Twenties was a playground for wealthy Americans, and the young couple spent their nights indulging in the city's famous nightlife. On the night of September 5th of 1920, they went out partying in the Montmartre district. Yeah, I fucked that one up.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
I took French in school. I don't even know where I'm going.
That first one didn't mess up
I
one.
did.
That's why I was
I'm
clapping.
like, yeah, go for it, right? Either way, so they went out partying in this district, drinking and dancing until the early morning hours. They returned to their hotel at around 3 a.m. According to Jack's later account, he went to bed while Olive, still restless, stayed up, writing a letter to her family. Jack dozed off, only to be awakened by Olive's screams a short time later. In the dark hotel bathroom, Olive had accidentally ingested a poisonous liquid, mercury bichloride, a strong antiseptic and syphilis treatment.
Oh, all right.
Which was in a flask or bottle on the bathroom shelf. The toxic liquid burned her throat, and she realized her mistake too late. Jack rushed to her aid, attempting to flush the poison by forcing water and raw egg whites down her throat, a common first aid remedy of the time. Olive was rushed to the American hospital in Paris. However, 5 days later, Olive Thomas fought for her life, and the poison caused acute nephritis, which is something that I'm familiar with, and lost her sight and the ability to speak due to corrosive damage. The New York Times reported that by Monday, she had slipped into a coma and she never regained consciousness. In September 10th of 1920, Olive died in the hospital with Jack by her side, just 6 weeks shy of her 26th birthday.
Yikes.
Olive Thomas's death quickly became one of Hollywood's first great scandals. At first, newspapers recounted the basic facts, that she had taken poison, whether by accident or not, and that she was La Belle Americaine, who had come to grief in Paris. Paris cable reprinted in London, and Australian newspapers noted that Olive and Jack had been doing the round of Paris
Look, and that word.
gaieties.
That explains a lot.
Gaieties, gaieties, I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
When she suffered a nervous breakdown and emphasized that Jack repudiates the suggestion that his wife committed suicide. Rumors swirled about that what really happened in that hotel. Rumors swirled about what really happened in that hotel room. Some papers speculated that Olive had been despondent and might have intentionally taken her life, citing that the couple's alleged quarrels that night, or in general, had a nervous breakdown and from the fast life, if you will. So that said, on September 29th of 1920, a grand funeral was held for Olive in New York City at the St. Thomas Episcopal Church. Thousands of fans crowded the streets to pay respects to the fallen star. The scene was so chaotic that one report described women fainted and men's hats were crushed in the throng. Her casket was blanketed in purple orchids with a spray of yellow and brown orchids placed at the top. Soon after Olive's death, this is where it gets interesting, whispers began that her spirit had returned to one of the places that she had been the happiest, the New Amsterdam Theater on 42nd Street, where she once reigned as a Ziegfeld Follies beauty. Over the years, numerous first-hand accounts of from the theater staff at night have fueled the Olive Thomas's enduring reputation as Broadway's most famous ghost. In the early 1950s, long after the New Amsterdam had transitioned from a Broadway venue to a movie house, a maintenance worker named Irving Cohn reported a chilling encounter. One day in 1952, Cohn was alone in the backstage workroom when he suddenly felt he was not alone. He looked up to see a stunning young woman standing in the doorway. She wore a flowing white gown with a gold sash emblazoned with the name Olive, and in one hand she held a blue bottle as if offering a silent clue to her identity. Startled, Cohn asked what she was doing there. Rather than answer, the spectral figure turned and fled up the stairway. She vanished before his eyes. A few weeks later, the mysterious woman appeared to Cohn again, this time walking down the staircase and toward the stage. Cohn called out to a colleague, electrician Charlie Brest, asking if he saw the beautiful redhead. Brest hadn't seen anyone, but when Cohn described the woman's appearance and her distinctive dress, he was stunned. He recognized the description immediately. It was Olive Thomas. The story of Cohn's sighting spread amongst theater folks and cemented the legend of Olive that Olive haunts the New Amsterdam Theater. In fact, Cohn later saw an old Follies photograph of Olive, and he was petrified to realize that she was wearing the exact same dress and the olive sash that the apparition he saw.
Aww.
Over time, Olive's ghost has become something of a guardian legend of the Amsterdam Theater. The building stood empty and decrepit for the years over the 20th century, but even during its renovation in the 1990s, when Disney restored it to its former glory, tales of odd happenings persisted. Construction workers reported unexplained incidents. One worker in the empty lobby heard a friendly female voice say, "Hi there, how you doing?" but turned to find no one present. During a project meeting, tools and materials inexplicably fell off the walls, startling the crew. Stagehands spoke of eerie lights. One member of working under the stage during a show glimpsed a pair of translucent legs walking up the stairway, disappearing at the top. Such events, while creepy, never caused harm. As one witness noted, the encounters were unnerving but didn't feel malevolent. One of the most famous modern encounters with Olive's ghost occurred in the early 2000s. A security guard at the New Amsterdam Theater, making his rounds at 2:30 a.m., was surprised to see a young woman in a green beaded 1920s style dress with wandering the dark stage with a bottle in her hand. Many people believe this is the bottle that she drank poison from.
Got you.
Concerned that someone had snuck in, he called out, "Hey, you can't be here," and instead of responding, the figure tilted her chin, glided straight through a solid wall, and disappeared out onto 41st Street.
Best mic drop ever.
Shocked, the guard phoned his supervisor, Disney Theatrical Productions VP Dana Amendola, in the middle of the night, frantically describing what he had seen. The description was immediately recognizable. The bobbed hair, the sparkling green Follies dress, and the bottle in a hand were all signatures of Olive Thomas. To this day, the security guard maintains that he came face-to-face with Olive's apparition. Amendola later himself discovered that Olive had indeed worn a green beaded costume during her Folly days, matching the ghost's attire. The staff at the New Amsterdam Theater have embraced Olive's ghost as part of the theater's lore. It is said that Olive's spirit has a flirtatious streak and prefers to appear to men, perhaps a reflection of her vivacious coquette she was in life. In fact, a long-standing tradition is formed after each show or rehearsal. The lights are turned off. Ushers and stage crew will bid the empty theater a polite "Good night, Olive" as they leave.
Aww.
That's sweet. And points for using the word coquette.
So Olive is, by way, kind of known as, surprisingly, despite the fact that her original appearances showed up in a white dress, she's kind of known as the Green Lady there.
All right.
That's pretty awesome, actually.
So brown, purple, green.
Well, you go, little girl.
Yep.
So that...
Dogs didn't like that, but, you know. They're like...
So, nevertheless, that is the story of Olive Thomas.
No.
I found it interesting anyway.
It is. I mean, this was easy but hard to look up at the same time forever because there's like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
But
there are, but
finding a story that actually, so easy yet hard.
So I did, in fact, look up the Pink Lady because
that's what you do.
So I'm just going to give a little honorable mention to her here. She is a spirit said to haunt the historic Omni Grove Park Inn in Asheville, North Carolina. She is believed to be a guest who either fell or was pushed to her death from the 5th floor of the hotel's historic section, landing on the Palm Court floor back in the 1920s. She is a young woman in a pink ball gown who appears usually out of a mist or smoke and then materializes into a woman in a pink gown.
So the reality of the matter is here, people, I think the point that we were mildly getting at is if you look it up, there is a lady of every color, like almost literally pink, green, purple, blue, you
Fuchsia.
Name it.
Fuchsia.
Fuchsia, magenta.
Colors that ain't even colors.
Mm-hmm.
But it was definitely cool and a nod to the ladies out there.
Yeah.
Really.
Lady ghosts.
Yeah, like I said, there has to be a pattern. It's my brain knows this pattern, so sorry. There could be a pattern with it. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a pattern. I don't know if there's anything to be said regarding the color of their attire, whether or not it was a stage uniform or
a train.
You know, the woman was in a pink ball gown, so I don't know. Was she in a pink ball gown when she died? Who knows?
Well, would that go back to my brain just had a brain fart and I forgot what it was called. There's the intelligent haunt and the what?
Residual.
Maybe they're just stuck in the same outfit they died in.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think, we look at these things, but, with any haunting, like you can see some apparitions look much like people. You know what I mean?
Right.
as to where other times you look and you see basically the aura / outline of a figure. And when it comes to colors, I think, like was stated, that's kind of two separate categories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think sometimes you might get Olive, who appears in a green dress that was like her original flapper dress,
Yeah.
which is why, but the way that it was described leads me to believe that like it literally looked like a woman in a green dress. It wasn't like an aura, you know what I mean? Because like we've seen the picture of like the gray lady coming down the stairs, which was just more like kind of like a mist / aura than, you know what I mean? It looked like a figure, but didn't look like a figure, you know?
Right.
I get
It
that.
didn't look like a person.
Huh?
Well, with all that said.
Yeah.
But with all that said, we're pushing the limit of a thick sode here, so
Socials.
drop the socials.
Alrighty then. Definitely come and hang out with us. Check us out on Facebook at No Lights Paranormal. You can email us at nolightsparanormal@gmail.com. You can find us on LinkedIn at No Lights Paranormal or No Lights Para, that's Para on X. Come say hi.
No.
We loved you.
We're not. Good.
We had plenty of fun going over all of the ladies. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed, like, I don't know. It felt more cohesive this week. You know what I mean?
Sure.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit of a topic to go on. But seriously, guys, we love you so much. Thank you so much for sticking with us over the last year and a little bit more.
Yes.
And yeah, come and
Cannot
say
thank you
hello.
enough for that.
Yeah, it's actually...
We're creeping up on 2 at this point.
Yeah.
Next month.
If you guys didn't listen, we wouldn't do this. So.
Exactly. Like, we'd be like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But that said, again, we do love you. Ireland is next week because I foobarred my fucking weeks.
Yeah.
So Irish Hauntings next week. Don't fuck with the Baba Yaga.
You shake a beer in it?
Sure.
I don't know.